Sooner Scoop HD.
Yeah, Jeff, I guess first of all, if you have an update on the quarterback, Dylan Gabriel injury situation, and two, just if there are uncertainties going through this week, how do you handle making sure that Davis is fully prepared for Saturday? Maybe different than past weeks.
Yeah, don't have anything new on Dylan. Coach will obviously address it tomorrow at his presser, and then. With Davis moving forward, it's our job to put guys in positions of success regardless of who's out there. We've talked a bunch about that as a unit and as a staff. Regardless of who's playing, man, our expectation is to play well and play cleaner and play better.
Eric Bailey?
When we look at the quarterback room, Jeff, I wanted to ask you about Davis. And we look at also, we see General too. What is the difference to those two quarterbacks? What do you see both quarterbacks doing well, and what's the separation between the two?
Yeah, I think Davis, the thing is, more than anything, is just having experience, man. Being able to pull from some of the things that he's gone through that's gotten him to this point, playing in some big games prior to this. And with General, he's done a good job. Obviously, both those guys getting here at the same time, it's been a crash course for them from a football standpoint and just knowledge and understanding what we're trying to get done. And then Nick's done a good job too. He's a guy that's gotten better every single week and proud of his development as well. So we'll operate as we need to.
Hey, Jeff, just to ask a little bit more about Davis, just with him obviously getting into the game unexpectedly, how do you find that balance between, not pushing him too far while also trying to find success offensively?
Yeah, it's a fine line, but there's things that we feel really comfortable about all those guys doing. And again, that's our job. That's my job. Put those guys in positions of success and give them the opportunity to go make some layups and create some success for themselves and the unit.
Jeff, they were on the field a lot more Saturday. The development of Nick and Jaden and how far they've come in the last month.
Yeah, those guys have continued to do a good job. They've worked, really well, have created value, created opportunity for themselves. So, got to continue to get better every single day, and just the strain for young guys understanding as we're getting into the meat of this thing, just what we have to do every single day to prepare ourselves to give ourselves a chance to play well and go win on Saturdays.
Jeff, when you look at Texas and what they do defensively, they seem pretty multiple, but can you give us kind of a deep dive in what you see out of them and what you think they're doing?
Yeah, they're playing really well right now. They had the hiccup a couple weeks ago, but they've played really well as a unit. Really stout inside. Their two interior guys are stout and big and do a good job of playing physical at the point, and got a couple of backers that are very, very productive and have done a really good job. And then they've got guys on the back end that have played a bunch of football, and they're a veteran group. They got a bunch of old guys on that unit, and right now they're playing really well.
Jeff, the concussion protocol has been kind of a flashpoint in football recently, given what happened with Tua last week. As a coaching staff, as a training staff, as you're kind of walking through this process with Dylan, does that situation kind of inform your caution at all?
I think everybody here understands that there's protocol for a reason, and making sure that we're putting guys in the best position to, one, be healthy, and two, give them the resources they need to have a chance to be healthy. And so that's something that is constantly being talked about as a staff, and our people are doing that right now.
Right side, Justin Martinez.
Hey Jeff, even with all the injuries, it seemed like the offensive line had one of its better performances, getting some really good push there at the line of scrimmage. Just what do you see out of that group in general last week?
Yeah, and did some good things, didn't play near good enough. We can play a heck of a lot better. That's all the way around. I can coach a lot better, but we did. It's just few and far between. Continue to shoot ourselves in the foot, and got to play better at more critical times. But that group's continued to come along.
Yeah, Jeff, 2 weeks ago, Dylan missed a few throws. A week before that, missed a few throws. Saturday, he seemed to miss a lot of throws before the injury. What's going on with his accuracy?
Yeah, there's a couple things that I'm going to continue to talk about and clean up. He's, probably what I respect about him as much as anything is the fact that he's harder on himself than anybody ever could be. And so he feels that, sees that, knows that. He's also got to do a good job of being able to cut loose and go play free and fast and not overthink it at the same time. Create some confidence early on and not let one turn into two. But he's a guy that's going to shake back and be ready to play his butt off.
Jeff, you guys were without Marcus on Saturday. Was that due to an injury or any other reason?
Yeah, Coach will talk about that a little more in the presser tomorrow.
And then as far as the wide receivers and maybe that lack of production behind Marvin Mims, what do you tie that to? Does that start with play calls? Is it those guys in particular?
Yeah, I think the most glaring thing is we did not create explosives in the throw game. And again, we missed some things that were incredibly frustrating. But that's not who we're going to be, not who we want to be. So got to be able to connect on some of those things down the field to give ourselves a chance to be more explosive offensively like we want to be.
Yeah, Jeff, in regards to Dylan's accuracy issues, follow up on that. Robert Griffin was saying during the broadcast, a guy that you helped put in his position where he's at right now. He said during the broadcast several times that his feet were not quiet, or they were outside of his base. He was throwing too much off his front foot, was too wide, or he just had all kinds of footwork problems. What does that speak to when that's going on? A quarterback who's as repped as Dylan is, when his footwork and his fundamentals kind of leave him a little bit, and can you correct that during a game?
Yeah. Again, I think it's just making sure one doesn't turn into two. I'll say it again. This guy's as hard on himself as anybody could ever be. So he'll get it cleaned up and get it right, and I got to do a better job of putting him in positions of success early on in drives to create some layups and create confidence as we go through it.
Is that correctable during games?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you see it and say something, and then he fixes it, or
it is for a guy like him, that's played a bunch of ball and lived it a bunch. So that's something that can get fixed in the flow of a game for sure.
Back to the right, Ryan Chapman.
Jeff, a few of the sacks that Davis took, I think he just held on the ball a little bit too long. Do you kind of boil that down to hadn't been out there taking live snaps a whole lot, and then how do you fix that in practice this week when he's got the blue jersey out there to kind of get that clock back where it needs to be?
It's getting real reps. That's the biggest thing is real playing time and real reps. I'll keep saying this. Was proud of him for how he took care of the ball. He had an opportunity a couple times to let one go, but didn't feel good about it. So he eats it and takes care of it, which. We're going to live on the right side of it. We're going to be aggressive, but always want to be on the right side of that. So him getting reps, the more he plays, the better he'll be.
Jeff, with Braden, I know you projected for him a bigger role that maybe we hadn't seen before. Was there anything when you got here in the offseason about him that you noticed and thought you had a weapon in?
Yeah, I've thought this entire time his skill set is unique because he gives you the ability to do so many different things. Play on the perimeter, play in the core, block at the point, block on the perimeter, stretch it down the field, catch footballs all over the field in a lot of different ways. So I think he's got a unique skill set, and we got to continue to do a good job of using him and maximizing his ability.
Barnes, you used him more than you have all year. Your running back situation's kind of, but what you saw out of him and saw Chuck Lake, can you go with those guys, or what do you think of those guys?
Yeah, Javonte's continued to do a really nice job. He had a really good spring. He's been here, had a great summer. He's worked his butt off to put himself in position. He's created value because of who he's been in the building every single day, and then, was proud of the way he played. He played tough. He played fast. Took care of the football. So he'll continue to get opportunities. Yeah, Gavin did a couple things there late, and we'll continue to work him and see where that ends up.
Jeff, you've been a part of this program for a lot. What do you remember about OU Texas games when you were here in the early 2000s?
There's nothing like it in all of college football. There's not. Been some different places, been a part of some big games, but there's none like this one. And can say it and can mean it. Man, walking down that ramp is as unique and as special as there is in this game. So pulling in on those buses at the State Fair, same thing. So our guys will be excited to play and going to be incredibly prideful about playing really, really well. So excited about it.
A couple more, Barry.
Yeah, Jeff, everybody, fans, media, everybody's, I assume players, stunned at what's happened the last 2 weeks. Everything going great, and then what happened. Are you coaches the same way? Are you guys a little bit shell-shocked that you've played this way 2 straight weeks?
No, I think there's real disappointment. But I also think that we've got a leader sitting in that chair that's not going to flinch. And we got a guy that's built for this with great toughness, great edge, unbelievable leadership ability, and that flows throughout this building. So nobody's going to flinch. Our guys are going to be ready to play. They want to play well. They have worked incredibly hard. Are we disappointed about what happened? My goodness, of course. TCU played their butt off. We didn't. We got to play better. But our guys will be ready to play on Saturday. And, again, it falls back on us, and we've got a leader that he's not going to flinch.
And last one, Ryan Chapman.
Back talking about kind of the atmosphere of this game. If Dylan can't go, you've got a quarterback who's making their first start at Oklahoma in that cauldron. Like, what goes into preparing a guy for not just their first start, but that particular atmosphere and the uniqueness of that environment?
Yeah, well, as we work through it, we'll kind of get to that point, but ultimately it's going to fall on myself to make sure whoever's out there is put in positions of success, create layups for guys, and create a situation where we know what the outcome is going to be before we call the play. So that's what we're looking for, and we'll work through that as the week moves forward.
Sooner Scoop HD.